When did you first become more interested in farming from a different perspective, an awareness of the growing use of chemicals and the problems involving?
Well, I think that was something that I just observed really over the years. I never really became totally separated from agriculture, even though we moved to town, as I mentioned previously, to a very small town. But I continued to work on the farms around there during the summer months. I would often work for what we used to call so much a day in found,
Yes.
which in those days meant $2 or $3 a day in found.
But the found was usually pretty good.
The found was very good. So I stayed in agriculture in that sense until I was out of high school, and then observed it from there on. But as I say, most of my relatives continued to farm, and many of them still do. So there was a close connection and an opportunity to be on farms a lot, and weekends and summers and that kind of thing, and observe what was happening. And as things have developed, I guess we all became more and more aware that there were problems associated with the heavy use of agricultural chemicals. And I would just say that when these materials were first introduced and farmers began to adopt them in the late 50s and 60s, very few people anticipated that there would be any problems, and the benefits were clearly enormous.
Yes.
And it's not at all hard to understand why farmers adopted these methods, and as I say, we left really before that trend set in heavily, but all of my relatives and other friends have chosen that form of agriculture, understandably, which is one reason that I've never personally, or here at the Institute, we've never pointed the finger of blame at farmers for doing this kind of thing. It made perfect sense from an economic point of view, and it was a rational sort of decision, and they were being encouraged to do this by their land-grant universities and other advisors. So that's a trend that started out for very rational reasons. But now, of course, we know there are some problems with that.
We know more now.
Yes.
And that's the reason for looking at things differently.